Palmer. It's so good to have you here with me on tonight's show, especially as we have fantastic guests for you. Oh yes, we are joined by Hue Cry. And here's what happened when I caught up with Pat from Hue Cry. Pat, it's lovely to have you on the show. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Slightly technically challenged, but I think we got there.
I know. We've learned a lot in lockdown, but there's always more to learn, which is just brilliant.
Yes.
Fantastic. And talking of lockdown, obviously we sort of come out of it now. I know you guys were busy doing sort of online live stream gigs, which was brilliant for people. And what have you guys been up to?
Well, precisely that, mostly in lockdown, is trying to figure out whether we can do a version of what we do live online. And so we did everything. We've done everything from Irish St. Patrick Day gigs to celebration gigs to, just kind of songs on request from fans. And my brother we have a fantastic little studio. My brother puts a green screen up. And all manner of realities are projected onto the back of that. So, I mean, that's been interesting as much because of the limitations that it brings up as much as the strengths. When you stop, I'm sure every artist has said this to you who's done this, that kind of thing. But when you stop your song, you expect the rush of applause to come upon you, and there's just dead silence. It's like cricket, like tumbleweed and crickets chirruping in the desert. So that is a slightly odd, but it's also been quite good just to have a deadline to kind of practice for, and particularly when we did the St. Patrick's Day, which was fascinating because we just picked sort of 20 contemporary or classic Irish pop songs, and it was like throwing yourself upon Neil Hannon and U2 and the script, and I mean, really, it was quite an education. It was like a real music education doing that gig. So it's really enjoyable doing them, but God, we're desperate to get back on stage. Really, really desperate, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I bet you'll never take that for granted ever again. And I think you guys as performers and us as viewers, we cannot wait for that. But we're going to go into the first song, Labour of Love. In my opinion, one of the best songs in the 80s. I've got a question from one of our viewers, Tim. He wants to know, was that chosen specifically your location? Because it was used later in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Do you reckon Steven Spielberg saw your video?
God, I didn't know that.
Yeah, apparently before they got on the airship.
I mean, I knew that it was used in Grand Theft Auto.
Yes,
the Ballad of Gay
I saw that.
I know it was used in that, and I also know that Tom Jones used to warm up with Labour of Love. I was told by his drummer, and then I also remember that Gary Barlow used to, when he was doing his first solo tours, would open his gigs with a lusty rendition of Labour of Love. So, we're very proud of it. I mean, it's a classic late 80s music track. That's half of it's propaganda, half of it sounds like, the Temptations in their velour suits. So that's the song. It speaks of the kind of the moment of the time, which was very, very engaged and also extremely flashy and brash and confident and shooting for the stars. So I'm still very proud of that record.
Oh, well, we just love it here on the show. We're going to play it out now, and we will see you after this. Now, I know you've got your Hue Cry Stars Crash Down Strip Back 30th Anniversary concert on the 2nd of October. What can we expect from this, Pat?
Well, Stars Crash Down was our third record. It came into the charts at number 10. It sold hundreds of thousands of copies. By all indicators, you'd have thought that was a successful record. But it was the record that parted our ways with the record company at that time because it wasn't successful enough. Sorry. It didn't have any hit singles the way the other ones did. So although not for want of trying. But we're very pleased by this record because it basically, we did what we wanted on it. And from that point onwards, we've done what we want in the music business. So it was very eclectic. It had every single style under the book that we wanted to explore, from funk to Latin to country to folk. And it's basically the template for all of our subsequent records, which is us just basically indulging ourselves and hoping that other people like what we're indulging. So So we're very proud of it. I don't know which song you're going to play from it, but I'd be quite intrigued to know what that would be.
Well, we're going to put details, first of all, on the screen of how you can get tickets for the Hue Cry Stars Crush Down Stripped-Back 30th anniversary concert. But actually next, we want to play one of my favourites, Looking for Linda. And I have to say, is Linda a real person or does she represent something?
No, Linda's a real person. And she's obviously a cool lady because although a number of people have tried to say that they are her, I know that they're not. And I think she either came to a sticking end, I don't know, or she's so cool that she wouldn't speak up to say that she was. She was cool at the time, and I think she probably would be a really cool older lady now. But I wish her all the best if she's still around.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're going to play it out now. It's a beautiful song. And I want to dedicate this one to my Auntie Linda. Enjoy. See you after. Now, Pat, you formed Hue Cry in 1983. How did it all come about?
Basically, two brothers in the same house. One of them musical because he sings, me, and one of them musical because he plays a multitude of instruments. That's Gregory, my brother. And we came together because we were spat out of all the bands that we went into, and we suddenly decided maybe we should be working with each other rather than just disrupting everybody else. So 1983, Hue Cry, our late manager, late as in not here anymore, Alan O'Neill, who used to run a recording studio, and we would do our milk rounds and our paper rounds to pay for this session, which he heard and said, right, I'm going to manage you guys to the very top, and he did. And so he was the kind of the and in Hue Cry, Alan McNeil, and he actually used to be in a band that was the band that led up to Simple Minds, so it was all very, very Glasgow.
Oh, okay.
Super Glasgow. Everybody entangled with everybody else. So that was it. And then, it was a kind of, I wouldn't say it was an easy procession, but I didn't struggle in too many dive bars to kind of pay my dues. I've done that after the 80s rather than before the 80s. So, we just sort of breezed. It was a very, very lucky time for us. We sort of breezed into the music business and started to do really well.
Yeah. Absolutely. And you guys are just so powerful. I mean, when I watch you on stage, I just think it's amazing. And, do you guys get on off stage? You ever have any brotherly fights?
Yeah, quite. Well, not nowadays. Back in the day when we were barely formed creatures, we're barely adult. I mean, we're still children, so there was a lot of kind of childish altercations and titanic disputes over hi-hats and all the rest of it. But that stopped, and it stopped mostly because we started to have kids.
Good to know.
Which was important. So it eventually stopped. But we're the best of pals now. We're two old mensches of the music business.
Oh, I love that.
And we're pretty good, very good pals now.
Yeah, good to know. And I mean, you guys have sold in excess of 2 million records worldwide. Did you ever think you'd have that much success?
I'm afraid we did, and we wanted 10 times more. So if it had been 20
million, like that.
If it had been 20 million or 200 million, we would have been 10 and 100 times happier. So no, we were always very ambitious. We weren't one of these kind of indie bands, with the kind of plaid shirts and gazing at their shoes. We were always quite interested in quite big success. I mean, our idols were, people who could split the difference between pop and art. So that would be Elvis Costello or David Bowie, or James Brown or any of these kind of people. So we were always shooting very high. And I mean, what's the point? You've only got one life. Shoot high rather than shoot for the middle.
I'm liking that mindset. Brilliant. We're going to go into Ordinary Angel. Now, another question from Mark, one of our viewers. Hi, Mark. He wants to know, you're driving a really cool taxi cab in this video. What was it like to drive it? And did it arrive like that, or did you have to dress it?
I can't drive, so it's all a fake. So me sort of, complete and utter crap. And we were driving around parts of North London rather than parts of New York, so it's all together cheesebaggery of the highest order. but it was, it's kind of what you did in the 80s. You pretended that things were different from what they are, so it was fun to do, but I've never driven then, and I'm not driving now.
Oh, okay, we're going to ignore that bit and just play out the video at number 42 in 1988. Enjoy. Oh, Pat, well, it's been such a pleasure to chat with you. We want to remind everyone to check out the Stars Crashdown 30th anniversary concert. Thank you so much. It's been such an honour. It's Pat from Hue Cry, everyone. Greg, welcome to the show. How are you?
A few technical things my end, but we're here now.
We're here now, and that is the main thing. It's great to have you here. And I know in lockdown, you've been homeschooling, haven't you?
Yes, I have an 8-year-old. I started late, so most of my friends and my partner, their kids are all working and at school. But yes, I've been homeschooling. It's been so much fun homeschooling. Her school have been so proactive, and I get my instructions in the morning via an app. And Eva Rose, my daughter, gets her instructions in the morning via an app. I prep my teaching thing. And then because we were on our own and we couldn't bring any of our friends because of the restrictions, I had a class full of toys. So we had Slothy, we had Unicorn, we had Chocolate, the bear. So we had quite a varied classroom, and they all had their own, and we had to pretend to be each one.
Aww.
So we just made it really kind of entertaining. And as I say, the teachers were incredible. Really incredible.
Aww.
But I was lucky because my daughter's mother's a lecturer, so she was not doing it as much as me, and we would structure a day around lessons. So and she did it here at my studio, which was amazing. So there's video cameras and pianos and synthesizers and blah blah blah. So she had quite a creative experience, and she didn't seem to miss the socialising with her friends. She much more enjoyed creating the best friends out of her toys, so it was good.
Oh, bless her. Oh, I love that. Well, we're going to go into the first song from you today. We've already spoken to Pat, but we're going to play out Violently. Now, I saw a clip of this being introduced by Bruno Brooks on Top of the Pops, and I love talking about Top of the Pop memories. What were they like for you?
I remember... the crowd were great. I remember they were all looking so excited. Most of the artists were tired and running through the songs 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times. But the audience enthusiasm never seemed to wane. That's what I remember. I just remember the enthusiasm. So most of the artists are quite nervous because it was one of the big TV shows in the country at the time. So the audience's consistent and constant enthusiasm kept us going. So that's the thing I remember most about it.
Did you meet any of your musical heroes there?
Did I meet any musical heroes? I saw them. You wouldn't really meet because it was like a conveyor belt. I mean, the building, which is Television House now, is circular, and that's the way they kind of dealt with the bands. The bands would just, you would do your thing, get off the stage, the cameras would reset, do your thing, get off the stage. So there wasn't much time to see each other. And then there was a garden out the back, which is the BBC or the Television Centre garden, and you were doing interviews there in between your takes. So everybody was just on this conveyor belt of promo and performance. So I did see some of my favourite artists, but I didn't get to see them, didn't get to meet them. And funnily enough, wind forward 30 years, when you get to meet them is when you do the Rewind festivals and the Let's Rock festivals. That's when you get to hang out.
Like
and
a school reunion.
Older and wiser. And we reflect and reminisce then, which is such a big part of the experience of doing these festivals, is hanging out with all these guys you used to see. I mean, you could talk all day. We were talking about, I was checking some of your videos about Paul Young, and Paul looked great. And Paul's always good fun to hang out with. So
we like Paul Young. Well, we're going to play out Violently, which is number 21 in 1989. Enjoy.
When somebody loves you, it's not gonna rest, they love your way. 'Cause when somebody needs you, it's no good unless they need your way. Completely untouchable, you can't get me. Knew no surprises. I was wrapped in a cold world. Every bit of it my devising. But you chipped away until some poor soul stumbling around. Then you brought me near and violently you came to me. You said I could be a different man, different man. And violently your words hit me, and I broke gently into your hands. Frozen survivor, brittle, hateful. I just don't understand what you want with a damn fool. But you chipped away until some poor soul appeared, shivering, trembling around. Then you brought me near and violently.
Then we got some questions from some of our lovely viewers. Sarah would like to know, where did the name Hue Cry come from?
Well, Hue Cry is in the dictionary, and it means loud public commotion. So Pat's the wordsmith, my brother. He's a graduate in English from Glasgow University. So he thought it would work well because there's two of us. I'm the Hue, the guy in the background. He's the Cry, he's the one that sings. And it means to make a loud public commotion, and that's what we wanted to do. So it seemed to fit perfectly. And when he came home one night, and because him and I are brothers and we're brought up in the same house, and he said, I've got the name for the band. And I had to look it up as well. I never heard of Hue Cry. But yes, it's made so much sense throughout the years.
Yeah, it really works. And Don would like to know, you performed alongside some of the greatest artists in music history, appearing with U2, James Brown, Madonna, Al Green and Van Morrison, to name but a few. What's been your absolute highlight?
My absolute highlight, I remember working with James Brown, the godfather of soul, and he stood at the side of the stage and watched the first 5 songs of our set when we played with him, the first time we played with him. And then afterwards, he invited us to join him when he prays for funk. So at the beginning of his gig, they enjoy it and you go in a circle, and the band all asked God to give them funk. Make us funky, God. That's what he does. And he invited us to do that with him, which was quite an incredible experience.
Wow. Yeah, I bet. Just wonderful. And Pippa would like to know, is it right, before gigs, you like to sleep and Pat likes to practice?
Yes, there's a thing, we've been doing this for so long, there are certain mechanisms that have to be in place, and it keeps Pat and I sane. So the weirdest one that people seem not to really understand is when we check into a hotel, we ask, can we be rooms that is the furthest apart? And usually the receptionists will laugh and say, what? And I said, we booked you all rooms together. I said, no, could you completely reverse that? And they kind of don't really understand, but the reason being is, he practices singing an hour before a gig and I need to sleep.
Right.
So some poor business person has got next door to Pat, as he does, lips to teeth, the tip of the tongue, me. And I'm quietly asleep in the other end of the building because I can't wear earplugs because I won't hear my alarm. So I have to sleep without earplugs, and the alarm comes off an hour before the gig, and I jump in the shower, get my stuff together and go and do a gig.
It's your little ritual. I like
That's my ritual.
Brilliant. Well, we're going to go into the next song, My Salt Heart. Now, this video is really cool. Who directed and came up with the stylish kind of black and white thing?
Well, there's a video director called Miles Thomas who was very successful in the 80s, and she's kind of a firecracker, May. You need to be on your game to deal with her. And Pat just fell in love with her. He loved it. I found her incredibly intimidating. But I guess in the kind of male-dominated film world, she had to be that kind of person, and she basically told me what to do and bullied me the whole thing. So I hope it turned out okay. She's such a talented director, but so intimidating to work with. But I enjoyed it, I think.
Wow, I think it's an awesome video, so it definitely works. It's such an uplifting song, number 47 in 1991. Here is My Soul Heart.
I make you sweat to know the taste of me. Ain't nothing sweet about.
Now, I want to talk about your festivals coming up, which is really exciting, especially after what everyone's been through. I see in August there's Rewind North, Party at the Palace. Rewind South. How excited are you to get back on the road?
I'm really excited, but I'm incredibly nervous. I was working with a singer during the week at the studio here, and he's very funny, Johnny. And I was explaining to him about people who need to be careful about going to these concerts, these festivals, because the bands haven't played for 18 months. It could be the worst festival you've ever been at because all the bands can't play.
But brilliant at the same time.
So he was saying, well, I had an idea for putting a comedy band together called Earth, Mince and Dyer. And I said, okay then. And he said, we just play Earth, Wind and Fire songs but never rehearse them. And it'd be really terrible. And I'm thinking, Johnny, don't say this. He says, I'm so worried about these guys because nobody's played for so long. And trying to organise rehearsals is really difficult. So,
yeah,
I mean,
bet.
yes, I'm enthusiastic about it. Yes, I'm really looking forward to it. But I'm really nervous because it could be terrible.
No, it's going to be amazing. And I think we've all been through so much that everyone just can't wait to get out there. So I think whatever happens, we're all going to have an amazing time. And
Yes,
what's your favourite song to perform live?
Sorry, my favourite song?
Yeah, to perform live.
We do a lot of Prince songs. Obviously our own songs, Labour Love, but we're going to do Amy Winehouse's Back in Black at these summer festivals. So we used to sing it like in a ballad way, and then the last gig we did in February last year, we played it for the first time and the place went nuts. So we're pretty much doing it the same way that Amy and her band did it, but when Pat sings it, he flips the lyrics, so it's from the perspective of the guy. So when you listen to Amy's lyrics of Back to Black, you kind of go, right, that guy's not a very nice guy. But when you hear it from his perspective, Pat put a twist on it, and it's really interesting. So I'm looking forward to playing that, and hopefully the audience can listen to how Pat's twisted the lyrics slightly.
Yes, we will watch out for that. And we're going to play out now a live version of your song, She Makes a Sound. Is this another one you like to perform live?
It's a very popular song with the audience because it's about the birth of Pat's first daughter, and everybody's been through that in our audience pretty much the same time as Pat. As I said, my daughter's only 8. I think the daughter that this song's about, Grace, is 32 now.
Wow.
So, yes, I've always meant to ask Grace what she thought of it. Actually, I've never done that in all this time, but it's a big favourite with the fans and we love playing it.
Yeah, well, we love it here on the show. Check it out and we will see you after.
Eternal afternoons, lying there listening. We're making plans for someone else to come. How much freedom we got left? Just enough to grab a coffee right in the square. Suddenly bells go clang, sweat scared in a taxi cab. Then the quiet words are not enough, and I will be waiting for some sign. For the man I am will change before it's light. There's gonna be miracles tonight. She makes a sound like I never heard. It's a cry that says, hey now, better watch out world. She makes a sound bright and clear. Put away that pain, kiss away that fear. Shuddering in my arms, first thing that I've ever seen. And every move you make you've never made, but only if I hold you tight. Will you understand the chaos hesitant, stumbling through that door? Somebody ripped up the rules. Other paper cups and paperbacks, they bow their heads to hear that sound. They know they got a new place starting this life. Never thought it would be so right. She makes a sound like I never heard. It's a cry that says, better watch out world. She makes a sound and I'm bright and clear. Put away that pain, kiss away that fear. She makes a sound like I never heard. It's It's a cry that says, hey now, better watch out world. She makes a sound and I'm bright and clear. Put away that pain, kiss away that fear. Now is the best of times, little dictionary girl. Every moment's like a harvesting. Autumn just can't seem to end. The universe contracts into her smile, and she will sing to me while, and she makes a sound like I never heard.
Now, just before we let you go, we want to know some gossip about your brand new album.
Yes, Pat and I started writing a record in 2019, and it was a dance record. So you can see one of the synths, two of the synths behind me here, but there's a whole wall of synthesizers that we bought, and I had to learn how to work. So Pat wanted to do an electronic dance record, so we've written an electronic dance record. But oh my goodness, I was watching the one you did with Dr. Robert and the Blue Monkeys when he was talking about the first 3 months of lockdown. It was really exciting and let's use this time to make music. But after that, it became so frustrating. You couldn't really focus. So the album's not really progressed that much. It's written, it sounds great, the songs are really good. But I'm just trying to figure out what's wrong. Why can't I finish this record? Why can't I move forward with it? And it must be, I've not been in front of an audience for 18 months.
Yeah.
I've not had, I mean, it sounds quite self-centered, but it's the applause that I miss.
Yeah, no, I can imagine.
I miss when you do something live on stage and you feel the reaction to the crowd, and at the end of it, you feel the appreciation of the effort that you've put in. And I've been doing this since I was 14 years old, and this is the first time I've not heard that for so long.
Wow.
So I'm thinking that's what it is. But the studio's here, everything's still working. I know how everything works. I'm quite studious, so that means I've been studying all these synths, not really playing that much music or new music, but studying how they work. So hopefully once all this starts to get back to whatever the new normal is, next year you'll be seeing a Hue Cry dance record, and we'll be dancing around the festivals to Hue Cry.
Oh, wow. Do keep us posted here on the show. But thank you so much, Greg. It's been such a pleasure to have you here. How much fun have you had on the show?
You are so much fun to hang out with, Hayley. You really are. I don't know how to take you. You've knocked me off my guard, but I quite like where I've fallen.
Brilliant stuff. Well, thank you so much. It's Greg from Hue Cry, everyone.
Bye.
Huge thank you to tonight's special guest, Hue Cry. And thank you to you at home for tuning in every week and supporting the show. It really is very much appreciated. Thank you. Now, I will see you same time, same place next week. I'm going to leave you with Saturday night's song of the week, which is Galaxy Thief, Blinding Lights. Enjoy.
Hey Hayley, it's great to be on your show. My name's Reese and I'm here with Ben, Jake and George.
We're Galaxy Thief and we're a four-piece indie rock band from the South Coast. We've just been picked up by Yamaha Music London as their first ambassadors.
As you can see here, we're on our farm in Swanage, where we've just been filming the new video using various drones and thermoimagery to get you the shots for our cover of Blinding Lights by The Weeknd.
So here it is. We hope you enjoy it.
I've been trying to call. I've been on my own for long enough. Maybe you can show me how to love. Maybe I'm going through withdrawals. You don't even have to do too much. You can turn me on with just a touch, baby. I look around and since it is cold and empty, no one's around to judge me. I can see clearly when you're gone. I said, ooh, I'm blinded by the lights. No, I can sleep until I feel your touch. Ooh, I'm drowning in the night. Oh, when I'm like this, you're the one I trust. Hey, hey, hey. sleeping till I feel your touch.